I've always loved the action of photography and processing film and being in control from the moment you take the picture to the moment you see the picture. And so I've always kind of specialized in doing darkroom work. So finding the right film, finding the right developer, finding the right paper, finding the right developer for the paper, and then, you know, and how do you show it in the end? So for me, it was always about the bodies of work and how to finalize something and really work on an image to improve it and optimize it. My name is Fabrice Strippoli. I'm a photographer in downtown Toronto.
What are you shooting with today?
I'm shooting with a Leica M3, which is kind of an old school camera. So it's a film camera. It was made in the 60s. This one is a single stroke, which means I can advance the film in one go. Mm-hmm. They made two models. They made one with two strokes, one with one stroke. The one stroke is a little rarer. And this one is kind of the holy grail because it's a Leica made in Midland, Ontario.
Hello.
Hello. Step into the wardrobe selection.
Some nice stuff here. Wow. Like, I wish I was a girl, you know?
And then we've got something a little edgy, some shoulder action, a little bit rock and roll.
French.
Yeah.
Like, this one is really cool. I think it will fit perfectly. And I think with the softness of the house and the little, you know, punk attitude within it, I think it'll work beautiful.
And the black one would probably be the best fit for underneath this.
That's up to you. You're the fashionista.
To me, that's also very generational. Like, that look is what I kind of grew up with, like the punkette kind of idea. And
Fabrice, are you ready?
I'm sweating and ready.
All right, so action.
I like to stop an instant, like really stop an instant that is a fleeting moment. I think the power of photography is to stop time. Ooh, we're going down. 5.618. That's when I realized that it was actually darker than we thought it was in this house. And that we're gonna have to go with slower speeds and then really work with the model, and that's where it, you know, freezing the model and having a slow shutter speed at the same time. Okay, here we're gonna go like slow speed, so breathe and
No movement, just
no movement like this would be great.
So Fabrice has chosen a location in the house that no one else chose. It's the darkest corner in the house. So because Fabrice is shooting a film camera, he's using a light meter. So we just saw Fabrice meter his model, Carla, and shout out the aperture of 5.6 and the shutter speed of 1/8 of a second, which is pretty slow. So Fabrice has his camera on a tripod. That will help because the shutter is going to remain open a little bit longer than we're used to. We're usually used to 1/60th or 1/25th of a second. And to also help, Fabrice is asking Carla, his model, to not move or breathe.
3. No movement. Take your right arm just over your left. Right over your left, yeah. All fingers out, close hand. Yeah, perfect. The vase is always kind of a metaphor for women, like in old art.
You've used 3.5 minutes.
I knew it. I knew he was going to be like done in 7 minutes.
Okay.
He doesn't need our help.
Unless he really messes up now.
In the photo world, I think that everybody should win. I don't think there's no competition. Like, the competition is really, we were both standing here and photographed the same thing, but really that's about as far as it gets. So at the end, when I made her lie on the stairs, I just wanted her to be a little bit uncomfortable so that she wasn't aware of me.
11 minutes.
Record that timer.
Here, wait, we gotta chat about that. Okay, so Fabrice.
Yes.
11 minutes.
11 minutes, so
Yeah.
fast. They can be so long, right? When you think every photograph is 1/30th or 1/8 of a second, you know, it adds up. And really, it's sometimes, you know, there's a few shots I missed and I know for sure I missed it. There's a few shots that have movement in it and I know it. So out of 36, I know I'm already like down to 25. But I think out of the 25, you know, there's gonna be some really spectacular. I think the light was spectacular.
Holy.
And I was really happy to walk in and see the light the way it was today.
Yeah, you got good light.
I scored on my time slot, I think. So, you know, the house is beautiful and the light is beautiful and the model was perfect and the clothes were what I wanted. Her hair looks phenomenal. The makeup looks phenomenal. The slowest rewind ever on this camera. I never understood why they made this a war photographer's camera because like really not the most practical.
No, just
It's kind of funny, but I love the smell of.
Can I smell? Oh,
It's
you
kind
can
of like
smell
gasoline.
it in here?
Yeah,
I love it too.
I know it's like gasoline. Or good port.
So I really, because I work with her often, I would have showcased her legs, but this to me.
You see, I can't go up to her and say, "Show me your legs."
I know. That's how we're starting. That's how we're starting the documentary.
It was interesting because I started thinking like I want like the cover of a Architectural Digest magazine type idea.
Yes.
So that's where I wanted to have like the cover shot.
Yeah.
So I started with that because the light was just really nice in that area to begin with.
Right.
And I wanted to be a little more about the house and a little less about her. And that's why there's movement in her. And, you know,
Well, I think you achieved that because that is an image you would see.
where, you know, I was actually concentrating on having play with her at this point.
You were. You were, and you gave her some great direction too. I love this pose that you did with her. So what Fabrice did was he mirrored the pose that he would like his model Carla to do.
Take your right arm just over your left.
Another way to direct your model is to go into the space, show the model which direction you would like her or him to be, and show the model the pose that you would like. Directing a model is next level photography. Work on it. I want to say how crucial it is, how important it is. That's like a next level skill. Yeah. You want to get better at fashion photography? Get better at directing.
Because the textures were really nice. And I thought at first this was the table, but it's not.
It's not
the
a reflector. I know. I know.
I should have noticed it in my camera, right? Like, and same thing with the plug. Yeah, when I saw the reflector, I was like, oh,
I
gee,
know.
that kills me. But you know, that's where slowing down and being hyper aware.
Time check? Yeah, I've got to know how quickly you did that.
11
Did
minutes.
you record that timer?
It would have been to maybe be slower and just maybe take less shots and do more sets. So I feel like I did 4 sets, like 4 different situations. I think I should have done 6, 7, and just be a little bit slower and really, again, work on the relationship. I chose T-Max 400 because it's actually a really fine-grained, fast film, and I wanted the speed because the lighting, it's really hard to know what you're gonna walk into. And the way it reacts to light, it's almost, it reaches almost infrared level. So when you see light coming in, the light will appear more white than other film, like than classical films, if you say. So, you know, it has a bit of a glow to it. And so I was looking forward to that. So that was the Leica with a 28mm. T-Max 400 pushed 1 stop, but you see what it did to the light though, like the contrast between the light and the dark, and yet all the mid-range. And that's from pushing it, and
Yes.
that's also from the film being slightly kind of infrared prone. Like when you see the film itself, it has a pinkish hue.
Yes.
It's because they have like a. If I would have used the red filter, you would have seen even more of a glow from the light.
Because Fabrice is shooting a film camera and he's in a low light situation, he is pushing his 400 T-Max film to 800. So he is setting his light meter at 800 and shooting at 800 the entire time. He is then giving his film to his developer, which is himself, and telling his developer that he needs to process the film at 800, which will add speed and light. Now, if Fabrice was shooting a digital camera, he has the convenience of moving the ISO frame by frame. So he could shoot 3200, 1250, 800, but with a film camera, you have to set your ISO at the beginning and you have to stick with it for 36 exposures.
At the beginning, you know, it's kind of funny because when I work in these sets, you know, I concentrate on the emotion and the look and everything, and then I forget details like the hand that's forward and the hand that's almost bigger than her head there, and it really bothers me, and I'm like, man, I should have really caught on to that.
And what lens were you using?
This was a 28 millimeter.
Right, yeah. It's tricky, isn't it?
It is tricky.
Yeah, I always find that very tricky as well.
And then
almost like you were a digital shooter for a minute there.
Yeah. Right? Right, exactly.
Right?
Overshooting with dynamite, right? I actually like this photograph.
Yes, I do.
And that's because there's some kind of ethereal to it, right? Like her hand and her hair, and she's not with me, she's somewhere else. And
it's like you said, getting towards the end of the roll, it's almost like you were getting towards the end of the session.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And that's always when it's, and then sometimes the subject thinks that it's over.
Yeah.
I always think when they think it's over is when you can capture the best image.
That's it.
Yeah.
My foot is part of it.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the fact that there's a play between, you see the two floors, like the distance.
Her cheekbone looks like crazy.
Yes, and that's, you know, and then it's like, okay, you know, now I really see your features properly.
Wow.
And then I did this one.
Wow, and your foot's still there.
And my foot's still there.
Yeah.
So to me, like, her reflection of her legs here.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And me being part of the scene.
Are you excited about this one?
Yeah, that's
Do you think this is the one?
That's the one that I like best of my series.
That's incredible.
You know.
I love this, Fabrice. Like, this is the one that I'm very excited to see for so many reasons. I felt like her pose that she was doing was perfect. What you were directing her to do. Wow, it's incredible. And that's good too, but this one is just so much better. She's just staring through the camera.
Yeah, she's staring through me.
Just,
all the elements come together, like the emotion, the light, the architecture.
Wow.
And I mean, I have to say, I am not a fashion photographer, and this
well, you are here.
I'm here, but it's like, wow, you know, it's like, it's not something I'm comfortable doing, or, you know, I do all week long, and this is just another shoot. Like, this is very different from what I.
So because you capture a lot of times, most of the time, people when they're unaware that they're being captured, did you enjoy this process?
I did. I thought I think it was definitely a teamwork.
Yes.
You know, like it was really well organized.
Oh, well, thank you.
And I thought that everybody did their job really well.
How was it printing your own work? I know you do it all the time.
It was the most difficult, of course.
Why was it the most difficult?
Just because the blacks were so deep.
It's incredible. So you were talking about the type of film and pushing it, and then it had that glow quality to it, right?
Yeah, so it was nice. Like, what I did was expose for the shadows. So all the walls around her were perfectly exposed.
Yes.
So that every bit of light really shone through, like really went higher in contrast.
Yes.
So the light is actually really harsh, but in another way really soft, because you have tons of shadow detail.
It's an incredible shot. I think it's gonna look amazing at the event.
I think hopefully people will love it.
I don't know.
Well, I love it.